Have you ever been in one of those moments, totally heated, your heart is pounding, and you tell yourself, just calm down, only to find it makes everything 1,000 times worse? Yeah, it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. But here's the thing, that isn't a failure of your willpower, it's a failure of your strategy. You've been taught to fight an emotional storm with logic, but that is like trying to stop a lightning bolt with a paper shield. In this explainer, we're going to completely dismantle that flawed approach. We're going to give you an engineering blueprint, a new set of tools to master your internal state, not by fighting your feelings, but by grounding the very electrical current that creates them in the first place.
Okay, let's really get into this, because this idea right here is the central paradox we have to understand. When a strong emotion gets triggered, you're not just up against some vague feeling in your head. No, you are dealing with a high-voltage electrical and chemical surge happening inside your body. So telling your brain to calm down in that moment is like screaming at a circuit breaker to stop tripping. It just doesn't speak that language. All it does is create more internal conflict, which, guess what? It generates even more emotional energy. You see, you're not fighting a feeling, you're fighting physics. And to win a fight against physics, you need a totally different set of tools. So here's our game plan for this session. We'll kick things off with the gasoline fire paradox to really see why our willpower so often fails us. Then we'll look at what's actually happening to your brain when it's under siege. After that, I'm going to introduce the Dampening Protocol. That's our 3-part framework for taking back control. We'll cover the physics behind why it's so effective, run you through your first hands-on regulation reset drill, and finally, we'll bring it all home to show you how to ground that signal for good. All right, Section 1, the gasoline fire paradox. Let's break down exactly why the conventional advice we've all been given about controlling our emotions isn't just a little off, it's biologically, fundamentally flawed. Getting this is the absolute first step to building a system that actually works. Okay, check this out. This slide lays out the two opposing strategies perfectly. On the left, you've got the flawed approach most of us use, right? We try to fight the feeling with thoughts, with willpower. But this is so slow. It's like trying to reason with a hurricane. It just creates this feedback loop where the harder you fight, the stronger the feeling gets. Now look at the right side. This is the engineering approach. We don't fight the feeling, we interfere with the signal itself. Instead of using thoughts, we use our own body, our own physiology and sensations. It's fast, it's structural, and it creates a grounded circuit. You stop trying to change your mind, and instead, you start by changing your state.
Right. And here's the most critical piece of the puzzle. When that emotional surge hits, your logical brain is, for all intents and purposes, locked out. There's a technical term for this, affective overflow, which is just a fancy way of saying you are emotionally flooded. A wave of adrenaline and cortisol literally short-circuits the higher-thinking, rational parts of your brain. So trying to use reason in that moment, it's fundamentally impossible. Your brain's operating system has flipped into a high-voltage survival mode, and the command center for logic is completely, utterly offline. So what's actually happening in our biology to cause this total lockout? Well, that brings us right to Section 2, your brain under siege. And listen, this isn't some metaphor, it is a precise description of a real neurological event. The state we've been talking about has a scientific name you've probably heard of, the amygdala hijack. And it's not a flaw in your design, it's a hardwired survival feature that, in our modern world, tends to backfire a lot. So what exactly is an amygdala hijack? Think of your brain as having two key players. First, you've got the amygdala, this ancient, primitive threat detector. Its only job is to scream danger to keep you alive. Then you have the prefrontal cortex, the modern, evolved CEO of your brain, the part that handles logic and strategy. Well, during a hijack, the amygdala screams so loudly that it just completely shuts down the CEO. And here's the real kicker. It can't tell the difference between a tiger in the bushes and a critical email from your boss. It treats both as life or death situations. So what you're experiencing isn't a personal failing, it's a hardware problem. And this isn't some abstract concept. You have felt this. I mean, think about the last time you were truly triggered. Can you remember that distinct heat rising up in your chest or your face? Your heart just starting to pound against your ribs? That powerful, overwhelming urge to either lash out or just get out of there? That's the hijack in action. At the very same time, you get what's called cognitive tunnel vision. Your world literally shrinks down to just the threat in front of you. Your ability to see other points of view or think about the big picture, it completely disappears as your entire biology gears up for survival. And this just hammers home the consequence. While all of that chaos is happening, your prefrontal cortex is offline. The wise, strategic, empathetic part of you has been temporarily benched.
This is the root cause of something we all know way too well, post-trigger regret. It's that awful feeling a few hours later when your logical brain finally comes back online and you think to yourself, ugh, why did I say that? That's not me. And you know what? You're right. It wasn't you, because the you that thinks and reasons simply wasn't in control of the machine at that moment. Okay, so we've clearly defined the problem. Now let's build the solution. This brings us to section 3, the dampening protocol. Now, this isn't about positive thinking or little mental tricks. This is a robust 3-layer protocol designed to act like a shielded circuit for your brain. Think of it as an engineering fix to manually ground that electrical surge of an emotion before it can take you offline. This protocol has 3 core components, and we're going to break down each one. Think of these as 3 different tools on your belt. First up is the Linguistic Circuit-Breaker, which is designed to shift where the processing is happening in your brain. Second, the Interoceptive Anchor, which uses physical sensation to create an override signal. And third, the Respiratory Governor, which uses your breath to manually engage your body's own built-in calming system. Together, these layers move you from fighting a storm to building a lightning rod that can safely handle its energy. Let's look at that first tool, the Linguistic Circuit-Breaker. See, when you're in the grip of a powerful emotion, all the activity is happening in your amygdala, your reactive survival brain. But by simply labeling the emotion in objective terms, like saying, I'm observing the sensation of anger instead of I'm so angry, you force a pretty profound neurological shift. You're actually engaging the language centers of your brain, which live in the prefrontal cortex. You are literally pulling the electrical load away from the primitive, reactive part of your brain and moving it to the modern, logical part. This simple act starts the dampening process immediately. Okay, our second tool is the Interoceptive Anchor. Interoception is just your brain's awareness of what's going on inside your body. During a hijack, that emotional signal is the loudest, most chaotic noise your brain is hearing. So to counter this, we create a physical override signal. By intentionally engaging large muscle groups, I'm talking about clenching your fists, gripping your chair, pressing your feet hard into the floor, you generate a powerful, clean sensory signal. It's like turning up the volume on a clear radio station to drown out all the static. This new physical sensation gives your brain a controllable input to focus on, which effectively overpowers that chaotic signal from your amygdala. And the third tool, the Respiratory Governor. This is where you take direct, manual control of your autonomic nervous system, the system that normally just runs on autopilot. A short, shallow breath signals panic to your brain. A long, slow exhale signals safety. By deliberately making your exhale twice as long as your inhale, say breathing in for a count of 3 and out for a count of 6, you engage what's known as the vagal brake. This stimulates a critical nerve that tells your heart to slow down and instructs your body to release a chemical called acetylcholine, which is basically your body's built-in antidote to adrenaline. You're using your breath as a physical lever to shift yourself from chaos to calm. Now, this might all sound good in theory, right? But it is absolutely crucial to understand why it works. So, Section 4, the physics of regulation. We're going to dive into the hard science here, the neurobiology that shows why this protocol isn't just a coping mechanism, but a powerful tool for literally rewiring your nervous system. Look at this number, 40%. That's not a typo. Studies on what's called affect labeling, that's our linguistic circuit breaker, have shown it can reduce activity in the amygdala by up to 40%, almost instantly. Just let that sink in for a second. By simply shifting from feeling an emotion to objectively naming it, you can cut the power to your brain's alarm system by nearly half. This isn't wishful thinking. This is a measurable physiological change you can create inside your own hardware. So what this protocol really does is it lets you move from suppressing emotional energy to processing it. Suppression is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes constant effort and, eventually that thing is going to pop up with explosive force. Dampening, on the other hand, is like opening a valve to let the pressure out in a totally controlled way. This allows all the different parts of your brain to get back on the same page. Your logic is no longer hijacked by panic, and you can focus your mental energy on actually solving the problem at hand. And here's what's really exciting. This creates a powerful upward spiral, a winner effect for your nervous system. Every single time you successfully use this protocol to dampen a surge, your brain registers a win. It learns that you are in control of the machine. This strengthens the neural pathway for regulation. It's just like doing reps at the gym. Each successful dampening is one more rep for your nervous system's resilience. So the next time a trigger hits, that pathway is stronger, and the reset becomes faster and easier. Over time, you stop being a victim of your triggers, and you become the architect of your response. Okay, enough theory. let's make this real. It's time to move from knowing to doing. Section 5, your first regulation reset. I'm going to walk you through a simple 1-minute drill you can use the very next time you feel that emotional flood start to rise. This is your first regulation audit. Here's the 3-step drill. The moment you feel that heat rising, you have to act immediately. 1, label. Don't analyze why you feel it, just name it, objectively. Observing frustration. 2, breathe. Immediately start that 2-to-1 breath. In for 3 counts, out for 6. Do this for 3 full cycles, focusing only on the count. 3, squeeze. As you're breathing, grip the arms of your chair or clench your fists as hard as you can. Really feel that physical sensation. The goal here is speed and action, not perfection. Interfere with the signal now. This quote right here is your guiding principle during that drill. Interfere with the signal, don't analyze the feeling. Look, there will be plenty of time later to understand the story behind the emotion, to reflect on what triggered you. But in the heat of the hijack, analysis is gasoline. Your only job in that moment is to interrupt the biological process. Cut the power, ground the current. The story can wait until your logical brain is back online and ready to work with you. And let's be really clear about something. This is not about becoming a robot or changing who you are. This is about mastering your hardware. Think of it like a technical skill, like learning to drive a high-performance car. You're not trying to turn a Ferrari into a minivan. You're just learning how to handle its incredible power, so you can keep it on the road, out of the ditch, and get the absolute best performance out of it. Okay, let's bring this all home. Section 6, ground the signal. This is the ultimate takeaway from our entire explainer, the core philosophy that crystallizes everything into a powerful new mindset for building what we can call a shielded mind. Here is it, the final, crucial insight. We often treat our strong emotions like they're commands. Anger feels like a command to attack. Anxiety feels like a command to retreat, but they aren't commands. Emotional intensity is just a biological signal. It's data. It's a primitive part of your brain telling you, hey, pay attention to this. True mastery isn't being unfeeling or ignoring the signal. It's being able to receive the data from your internal dashboard without letting it grab the steering wheel. It's being well grounded enough to feel the electricity without letting the storm take over. So, I'll leave you with a direct challenge. The next time it happens, and it will happen, the next time you feel that familiar heat rising in your chest, you now have a new choice. You can fall back into the old pattern, trying to fight it with your mind and just keep feeding the fire, or you can use the engineering approach we've talked about and ground the current. Will you use the drill? Remember the steps. Label, breathe, squeeze. This is your new mantra. It's the distillation of everything we've just covered. Real power isn't found in trying to avoid the storm. It's found in knowing with absolute certainty that you have the tools to ground the signal, stay in control, and navigate right through it with your wisdom completely intact. Ground the signal, and you will master the storm.